All right, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I know you wanted me to let that beat drop one more time, but I just couldn't do it. Couldn't keep you waiting any longer, but everything's all set up. Everything's all in place for us to win the day once again over on PrizePicks. My name's CJ. If you're joining me for the first time, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure that notifications are turned on. 4,500 subscribers. We finally reached the peak, the pinnacle. So I appreciate all the support. Thank you so much for liking these live streams every day. We ran up the likes once again yesterday. I hope that we can hit 100. Shoot, I'm going to even shoot for 200 likes on today's live stream. So appreciate everybody out there who continues to support me, the community, and the channel by showing up, subscribing, hitting those likes, sharing the live stream, sharing the information, sharing the videos with everybody out there. So appreciate everybody out there. First time without the hat? I don't know. It's been a while. I'm letting the locks just do their thing. You guys are always talking about locks, right? Where are the locks? They're on my head. Locks of hair, right? That's what we're talking about. So yeah, I'm letting the locks out today. No hat. It's a nice day out. Nice weather. Get a little sun on the old scalp for once in a while. Appreciate you guys noticing, though. The big old head is on display. That big old forehead is glistening. It's glistening right. Got the sun coming in. I got the light on my face. All right, we got it going. All right, got the hair product in. Check me out. Check me out in HD, baby. But anyways, listen. Had another good night last night. Pretty solid night last night over in the Patreon/Discord community. Winner Circle, once again, filled with lots and lots of winners. So I appreciate everybody who's a part of Patreon, who's supporting this month in the Patreon and Discord groups. Hopefully we make it another pretty successful night once again. Last night I was on DeMar DeRozan over on points, both at 25.5 and 26.5. He covered both. It took overtime, but he got it done, so I don't care. I ain't complaining. What else did I have? I had Kevon Looney going over his first half fantasy points against the Sacramento Kings. First half only for me, as I talked about in yesterday's video, due to the fact that the game was a blowout risk. So I played first half only. Kevon Looney, Sacramento, giving up the first most amount of fantasy points per game to the center position. So we ended up rocking with that pick. That ended up hitting. We also took Stanley Johnson under 3.5 first half points. Stanley Johnson is now 0 for 5 in games without LeBron at covering 3.5 first half points. And I saw some people even double down. They took the under on his 3.5 second half points, and that ended up hitting too. So Stanley Johnson, thank you for doing nothing, my friend. You made me and some other folks in the community some money. One pick that did not work out that should have worked out was Devin Booker over his first half point prop of 14.5. Devin Booker had all the shots, all the opportunities in the world to get it done. His shot just wasn't falling. He had a great success rate against the Atlanta Hawks, had a great success rate over the last 5 games, even the last 10 games. But Devin Booker, shots just were not dropping despite a great matchup. So it's a darn shame. It's a darn shame. Anyways, that was last night in a nutshell. I ended up profiting. Hopefully a lot of you Patreon and Discord members did as well. It looked like I saw quite a few winning entries posted to the winner circle. So I appreciate everybody, like I said, for being a part of the community, for being active, for sharing the information, helping with the player prop research. Listen, we're all in there rolling up our sleeves and we're getting it done. If you're interested in being a part of the group, you can join down in the description below. There is a link for you to join Patreon and Discord. So with that out of the way, let's check in on the chat and see what you guys are talking about. We got Desmond saying, let's get it. Congrats on 4.5K subscribers. Well deserved. Yeah, well, it was funny. As soon as I tweeted out that I passed 5,000 subscribers, my subscribers dropped by like a few. So now I guess we're back under 4.5K technically by like 5 subs, but that's okay. We'll get them back. I have a strong feeling that we'll get them back today. Sorry, that's a weird name. Cryova Kicks. I need to bounce back today. CJ, let's go. Let's do it, man. No better day than today. Travis Anderson says, what's up, CJ? I made a mistake and opened 2 Discord accounts, still trying to link up my Patreon account. But anyway, I'm here. Let's get it. Well, I love that you're here. At least hit me up if you have any questions trying to sort out your Patreon Discord situation there. Gibbs back in the house. Good morning to you and the Patreon fam. Love that. Aaron Rodgers says 3 straight days hitting a 5-play 10x payout. Let's make it 4. Let's make it 4. Mark H, what's up, gang? Happy Friday. CEO Lico says, let's get it. Replay gang got 4 wins yesterday. Love to hear it. Low baller. Thank you, CJ, and the Patreon community for a great start to February. Pretty strong, right? Definitely on the 1st and 2nd. 3rd wasn't so bad itself, so yeah, nice little start to the month. Matt Clark, shout out to you. Ronald's Green, what's happening? King United hit his second 5 pick last night. Overtime, saved his DeRozan pick. Base the Wolves in the building. What up, bro? What up? Papiga Clap says, chat, please smash multiple assists and rebounds and PRA props already before they jump. Okay. Fair warning. Magic, your Patreon picks saved my night last night. Wish I would have joined sooner. Let's get this bag today. Well, listen, I'm not going to hit every night. We're not always going to have perfect nights, strong nights. Sometimes, there's going to be those nights where stuff just ain't hitting. It just ain't working out. But hopefully we hit more than we miss, right? That's the goal anyway. And we're practicing good, sound strategy and bankroll management along the way so that we could turn the month of February into a profitable month. Drew Bree says, Patreon gang in the house. I love these live streams. Well, I love you being here, man. Thank you so much for the support, my brother. Boom. Fist back up to you. Papiga Clap talking already some props. We're going to get to those in just a minute. Leroy says, let's go. Jimmy Green. What's up to Jimmy Green? Listen, Jimmy Green is doing something nice, folks. Not only him, but a couple of other folks in the live chat and in the Patreon community. We've got my man Who Dat, aka David. You know him as David here on YouTube. We got my man Jimmy, and we've got Fred Dog, another Discord member. Listen, those 3 guys want to sponsor. They want to sponsor 3 new Patreon members. So what I'm going to do is later today, I'll put out a message in the announcements channel of my Discord, the Out of Bounds Discord. Again, you could join the Discord down below. I will put out an announcement. Okay. And in that announcement, I will announce that I'll be giving away three Patreon memberships for free. Thanks to Jimmy Green, thanks to Who Dat, aka David, and thanks to my man Fred Dog. All right. So we're going to give away 3 months of Patreon to 3 different people. So we're going to have 3 different winners. The month of February will be covered thanks to our own community members. They are sponsoring this. These 3 gentlemen wanted to bring some new blood, some fresh faces into the community. So we're going to do a giveaway. So I will put out an announcement message in the announcements channel in the Out of Bounds Discord. Join below. And then all you have to do is react to that announcement with, a thumbs up or something, any type of emoji reaction to that, letting me know that you are interested in being considered for a free month. Now, you can't already be a Patreon member. This is going to be for new members only, people who are not Patreon members. So people on the outside who want to get in kind of thing. All right. So we'll try and bring in 3 new people. Shout out again to Jimmy. Shout out to David. And shout out to my man Fred Dog for sponsoring 3 new members this month. Pretty cool that they're able to do that, man. Paying it forward. You gotta love it. Gotta love it. That's what the community is all about. Chris Smith, shout out to you. Chill Robot says, TGIF, thank goodness it's Friday. Jacob's in the building. Good morning back to you, Jacob, and the Discord family. Love to see it. CEO Lico, payday Friday. That's right. That's right. We're going to have a payday today. Zach Gill says, what's up? It's Friday. Let's put a good start to the weekend. I love that. Chris B, what's up? Rainy Friday where you are. All right. I hear you. I hear you. Jeremy, shout out to you. We got Carlos in the building. Christopher Money is in the building. Shutakai YouTube is in the building. Love that name. That's an interesting one. Timothy Scott, what's happening? Who else we got in here? Who else? We got Dave Gutierrez says he had a horrible night. I know 2 nights ago was a good night for Dave, but needs a little bit of a bounce back today. I hear you. Sometimes we have those bad nights. Royster Cam's in the building. He's puffing out his chest saying, you should have listened. You should have listened to me. Royster Cam with some good knowledge being dropped up in here. Fernando, what's happening? Gucci, what's happening? Bo Man, how's it going? Real King's in the building. Cody's in the building. So yeah, we're going to give away 3 Patreon memberships later in the day. Like I said, just make sure that you join the Discord. I will tag everyone in that announcement post. And you just leave a little reaction. Leave a little reaction to that post if you're interested in being considered for the random drawing for that free Patreon membership. I'm going to give away 3 of them. All right. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and break down today's NBA slate. Got a nice one. Nice, healthy assortment of games here. Starting things off 7 p.m. Chicago Bulls at the Indiana Pacers, 231 points. My, oh my, what a total. Gotta love a total. Anytime it's 230 or more points, yes, that gets me excited. 230 or more points always gets me excited. 3-point spread as well, meaning this game should stay close and competitive. Listen, over on the Bulls side, it's the same old Lonzo Ball, Alex Caruso, the most impactful injury news there. Over on the Indiana side, we got Goga Bitadze as a game-time decision. O'Shea Brissett, also a game-time decision. So their front court continuing to be pretty thin without the likes of Miles Turner, Domantas Sabonis. Also, their backcourt's a little beat up. No Malcolm Brogdon as well. So definitely dealing with their fair share of injury news, but looks like a great total in a great game to possibly target some overs in a full game format. 7 p.m. the Boston Celtics at the Detroit Pistons. We got 214.5 points on this one. 9-point spread in favor of the road team, the Boston Celtics, 9-point favorites. No real impactful injury news over on the Celtics side of things. On the Detroit side, we got Cade Cunningham, a game time decision. He did not end up playing in that last one, so keep an eye on his injury status. He may be out, but this game looking kind of ugly to me. This one might just be a first half only play, being that it is a 9-point spread here. So a little worried that this one gets out of hand. 7 p.m. also brings us the Cleveland Cavaliers at the Charlotte Hornets, 218.5 point total. We got a 5-point spread in favor of the home team, the Hornets. Keep an eye on Gordon Hayward, though. He is a game-time decision. He's missed the last handful of games for the Hornets. Over on the Cleveland side, Colin Sexton, Ricky Rubio, Lauri Markkanen, Darius Garland, all out. So they're dealing with their fair share of injuries. It'll be the likes of Brandon Goodwin and Isaac Okoro in the backcourt for the Cavs. So pretty decent total, and the spread looks like it's going to be close enough for me to consider it in full game format. 7:30 p.m. Atlanta Hawks at the Toronto Raptors, 218.5 points. Both of these teams played last night. Both of these teams in a back-to-back situation. We got a 2.5-point spread on this game, so a fairly good total. And the spread here looks like the game's going to stay close. Hopefully it does. We got Lou Williams and John Collins on the Atlanta side, both game-time decisions, both pretty impactful pieces of injury news, especially John Collins if he decides he can't go. Over on the Raptors side, nothing real major there. 10 p.m., Philadelphia 76ers at the Dallas Mavericks. We've got Joel Embiid for Philadelphia versus Luka Doncic for the Dallas Mavericks. Love this matchup. Two of the best players in the league at their respective positions. Just 212.5 points between these two teams, though. 2-point spread in favor of the Dallas Mavericks. Looking at the Philadelphia side of things, Seth Curry, former Dallas Maverick himself, game time decision at the moment. Gonna have to wait and see if Seth is in or out. Keep an eye on that injury news per the usual. Over on the Dallas side of things, not really seeing anything outside of the norm. And the norm is Tim Hardaway Jr. is going to miss an extended period of time. Kristaps Porzingis is out again. So it'll be a front court of both Maxi Kleber and Dwight Powell manning the middle for the Dallas Mavericks. This one's a little out of order, but 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Houston Rockets, San Antonio Spurs, a battle of two teams from Texas. Listen, I told you before, I like totals of 230 plus points. We got 236.5 points on this game. 236.5 points. Love the total on this one. Monster size total. This will be a fun one to potentially target some overs. 4-point spread in favor of the home team, the San Antonio Spurs. So Houston Rockets at the Spurs, huge total. Spread's just 4 points. The biggest injury news is going to come from the San Antonio side. Keep an eye on the likes of DeJounte Murray. Huge news there. Keep an eye on the likes of Doug McDermott. Keep an eye on the likes of Jakob Poeltl. All right, 3 of their mainstays in the starting lineup, all game time decisions, all have missed some time recently. So definitely got to make sure that those guys are in. 9 p.m. Eastern, Brooklyn Nets at the Utah Jazz, 230-point total here. Another sky-high total. Gotta love what you're seeing. 4-point spread in favor of the Utah Jazz. If we look at the injury news for Brooklyn, it's pretty much the same faces. Different day, same faces. Kevin Durant's out. LaMarcus Aldridge is out. And then over on the Utah side, Rudy Gobert and obviously Joe Ingles is going to be out for the rest of the season. Hassan Whiteside, Jordan Clarkson, both game time decisions, so we got to keep an eye on the Utah news. But it looks like Donovan Spida Mitchell is going to be back in the lineup for the Jazz, so you love to see him back out on the floor. Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern, Oklahoma City Thunder at the Portland Trail Blazers, 213.5 points, 8.5 point spread. Again, when the spread starts getting up there around 8, 9, 10, 11 points, listen, I'm considering this a first half only type of game. It could blow out. The Oklahoma City Thunder dealing with a lot of impactful injury. Obviously, SGA being the biggest one. They got Roby, Wiggins, Robinson, Earl all out. Over on the Portland side, still without Damian Lillard, Nas Little, and Cody Zeller. Larry Nance Jr., though, is a game time decision, so that's an upgrade for him. He was ruled out in previous games. Looks like he's got a chance to possibly get back out on the floor. So, again, for me, probably just a first half only play. Let's move on to the final game, 9 p.m. Eastern. The New Orleans Pelicans at the Denver Nuggets, 225 points, 6-point spread. This one's probably okay. It's teetering on the line of me getting uncomfortable about playing any full game overs, but I think I'll ride with it. 225 points, 6-point spread. Keep an eye on the on the New Orleans Pelicans side. Josh Hart's a game time decision. Hernan Gomez is out. Temple is out. Kira Lewis Jr. is out. And, of course, Zion Williamson is out. But I heard something, a little piece of injury news or a little piece of COVID news about the New Orleans Pelicans. Apparently, they're dealing with like some kind of COVID outbreak. Double check that. Confirm that for me. But I heard something. Somebody posted something in Discord that New Orleans is dealing with some kind of COVID stuff. So definitely would rock the entire lineup if COVID ended up spreading throughout that locker room. Anyway, Nikola Jokic looks like he's back for Denver. DeMarcus Cousins, game time decision. Nothing real crazy going on in terms of Denver Nuggets injury news. So there you go. There is your slate in a nutshell. Let's go ahead and refresh the projections that are provided here by Fantasy Labs. And then we'll get down to business. Appreciate everybody who's just getting here, who's just joining. Thank you so much for being here, being a part of the chat. My man Mark says, with a super chat, says, make it 4 Patreon subs. All right, listen, he's just upped the ante, folks. Another one of our Patreon members wants to support and sponsor a new Patreon member coming into the community. So I love it. I mean, you guys are just continuing to pay it forward. Mark says, make it 4 Patreon subs. He wants to give away a 4th Patreon subscription. I got one for a new user of your choosing. Thanks for all that you do. Well, listen, Mark, I appreciate that. Not expected. Never expected from me. All right. I never expect this kind of stuff, but when you guys want to pay it forward, listen, I can't feel nothing but being humbled and feeling grateful. So I appreciate you wanting to do that, Mark, and we'll definitely make it happen. So make it 4 Patreon memberships going to be given away today. Thank you to Mark, Jimmy, David, and my man, Fred Dog. I think I got all 4 of them in there. So again, join the Discord. Keep an eye on the announcements channel. I'll post something after I get off of the show here. And then just react to it. All you have to do is react to it. If you react to it and you're not already a Patreon member, then I'll put your name on the wheel of names. We'll spin the wheel of names and we'll select four lucky winners. All right, cool. So let's get down to business. Points. Last 10 games. Who's been hitting? Who's been missing? Let's take a look together, shall we? First guy that's coming up here. This guy suffered a laceration in his last game, but he ended up coming back. Now, Miles Bridges at 19.5 points over the last 10 games has covered this prop in 7 out of 10. That's a 70% hit rate. So, the last 2 games not been so good for Miles Bridges. But we go back a little bit further here. 26 against the Lakers, 22 against Indiana, 22 against Toronto. And he does have some pretty decent game logs over the last 5. He's averaging 18.8, slightly less than the 19.5. But, like I said, the last 2 games have not been so kind to him. I think that laceration that he suffered against Boston kind of threw him off his game. Maybe that impacted him in a way. Let's go take a look at the matchup, though. We got Miles Bridges against a big, physical, athletic, long Cleveland Cavaliers front court. Cleveland, known to be a pretty tough team defensively, but look at this. Over the last 7 games, they're giving up over 28 points per game to the power forward position. That is the first most points allowed. over 28 points per game. This young man, Miles Bridges, needs to find just 20 points. Just 20 points to hit the over. So let's go ahead and take a look at his projection for that. Like I mentioned, we're going to be using Action Labs. I've got him projected for 20.2 points today at 19.5 points on all 4 different sports books that we can reference here. But at 19.5, people are taking the under on Miles Bridges. They're taking the under. They think his streak of bad games, of underperforming at 19.5 points, will continue tonight against Cleveland. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. He could be in a great bounce back spot here after having a really bad game against Boston. Like I said, Cleveland giving up the first most points to the power forward spot over the last 7 games. So maybe he's one worth putting on your radar. Everything is linked down in the description below. If you're ever looking for any kind of links to anything, props.cash. If you're looking to join PrizePicks and get the 100% instant deposit match, link down in the description below. If you're looking to join Discord, Patreon, link down in the description below. Everything's linked down below for you guys. Check out the description. All right, another guy who's been hitting his point prop with a pretty high success rate, Denver Nuggets point guard Monty Morris. I don't see Monty Morris up on the board right now, but maybe if they add him later at 12.5 points, you consider him, because in the last 10 games, he has covered 12.5 points in 7 out of 10. So a 70% hit rate for Monty Morris. Patty Mills is another guy potentially worth considering at 13.5 points. He has covered his point prop in 7 out of the last 10 games. It looks like James Harden and Kyrie Irving will be suiting up tonight against the Utah Jazz. But Patty Mills at 13.5 points, like I said, nice hit rate over the last 10 at 7 out of 10. Nice hit rate over the last 5 at 4 out of 5, an 80% hit rate while averaging 16.6 points. So let's go ahead and take a look at this matchup for Patty Mills. Kind of hard to figure out, right? Because you got Kyrie Irving, James Harden, and Patty Mills. It's basically like 3 different combo guards. I mean, you could call them all point guards. You could call them all shooting guards if you wanted to. But we're going to look at both point guard and shooting guard positions here against this Utah Jazz team and see how many points the Jazz are giving up over the last 7 games. They're giving up about 23.2 points per game to point guards. You can see where that puts them, like right dead smack in the middle of the pack here. Right in the middle of the pack. And then if we look at the shooting guard spot, Utah actually giving up nearly 26 points per game, the 3rd most to opposing shooting guards. So whether you're a point guard or a shooting guard against the Utah Jazz, listen, they're giving up 20 plus points to both positions. But it's definitely a better spot if you're a shooting guard. All right, so there's the matchup for you in Utah in terms of like how many points they've been giving up. Let's take a look at the projections here. I got Patty Mills projected for 14.1 points. Now we're seeing him at 13.5 on most sports books, but I'm also seeing him at 14.5 on some sites, meaning we might have at least 1 point of value here on PrizePicks at just 13.5. Now at 13.5, I'm seeing people betting the over, but at 14.5, I'm seeing people take the under. So between 13.5 and 14.5 lies 14 points. There's a good chance. Maybe there's a shot here that Patty Mills lands on 14, like he did last game, which was against Sacramento, and ends up covering his prop of 13.5. Dave's leaving a super chat. He wants me to check out Tyrese Maxey's assist and versus Dallas's defense today. Absolutely. Yeah, I could definitely do that for you. If I forget, because I want to save that for the assist portion, if I forget, please try to remind me. All right, I'm going to try not to forget. But if I do forget, remind me. Looking at another point prop, how could we not talk about Joel Embiid? He's going up against the Dallas Mavericks tonight, 31.5 points. In the last 10 games, he's covered this in 7 out of 10. But over the last 3 games, you can see there, he's got a couple of games in there where he's fallen below 31.5 points. 26 is an underperforming game for Joel Embiid. For most players, that's a fantastic game. 27 against Washington, another game where I thought he was going to smash, but did not. So is Joel Embiid starting to run out of steam? Or did we just chalk it up to a couple of bad games? Maybe they were just a couple of bad games. Nonetheless, 31.5 last 10 games, 7 out of 10 last 5 games, 3 out of 5. So 70% and 60% hit rates respectively. And we talked about no Kristaps Porzingis in the front court for the Dallas Mavericks. So that means It's going to be up to both Dwight Powell and Maxi Kleber to try and slow down the process. Will they do it? I don't know. Let's go take a look and see how many points they're giving up to opposing centers over the last 7 games. Listen, they're pretty stout. They're pretty stout defensively against centers, it looks like, in the last 7 games. They're giving up the 7th fewest points to the center position. The 7th fewest, just 18.4 points per game allowed. So they are doing a good job at limiting opposing centers. So maybe the 31.5 is a little too steep, a little too high for Joel Embiid. But do you ever feel comfortable? Do you ever really feel comfortable taking the under on a guy like Joel Embiid? No, I don't. At least I don't anyway. So for me, if you're not loving the matchup for Joel Embiid, it'd probably just be a fade. I don't want to take the under on Embiid. Listen, I got him projected for 30.5 points, but he is at 31.5, even 32.5 on some sports books out there. At 31.5, it looks like people are taking the over at 31.5 on Joel Embiid. No action coming in at 32.5. I think that's a tough number. But for me at 32.5, I'd be even more likely, more willing to take the under on Joel Embiid. But for me, I'm not going to play with fire here. I'll probably stay off of Embiid tonight. But if you believe in him, and if you think that Powell and Kleber, that dynamic duo in the front court for Dallas, isn't enough to clamp Embiid down, if you're going to go against the numbers in the last 7 games, then maybe you consider the over on Embiid. But I'm not going there. I ain't going there. Other names to consider here. The last one on the board who has a 70% hit rate or higher in the last 10 games. This guy, Anthony Simons at 18.5 points. 7 out of 10 games, he has hit 18.5 points, hit the over on 18.5 points. Last 5 games have also been good for this young man. He has gone over 18.5 in 4 out of his last 5 games. So Anthony Simons showing some pretty good scoring punch, some scoring pop, averaging 19.6 points per game over the last 5. Let's go ahead and take a look at this matchup. Simons versus OKC. I'm a little concerned that this game could end up being one of those blowout type of games. So let's look at the point guard position. Oklahoma City giving up about 21 to 22 points per game to opposing point guards. Listen, that sounds like a lot, but you look at where they rank, they're down toward the bottom of the pack. They're actually doing a pretty decent job over the last 7 games in limiting points to the point guard spot. Now let's look at the shooting guard spot too, because he and McCollum, to me, interchangeable, right? They're both kind of like combo guards. So the Oklahoma City Thunder giving up about 22.2 points per game. Now that really is like right in the middle of the pack. So not an overly difficult matchup, but not an easy one either. The last time he did face OKC was January 31st, just a couple of days ago, and he had just 8 points against the Thunder. Do you think he bounces back and looks to have a better game against OKC? Or are the Thunder going to put the clamps on Anthony Simons and make his life a living hell? We don't know what's going to happen. But let's take a look at the projections. Got him projected for 18.8 points, which is more than 18.5, ever so slightly more. At 18.5, I'm seeing him on 3 out of 4 sites being bet under. People are taking the under. That's real people with real money. They are clicking the under on Anthony Simons at 18.5 points. So they do not believe that Anthony Simons will go for 19 or more points, despite the high hit rates over the last 10 games. And I can understand their pessimism. Like I said, didn't even hit 10 points in just a couple games ago against the same Oklahoma City Thunder team. So that's it for points. Those are your top hitting point producers. Let's take a look at some assist props. And while we take a look at assists, you can assist me. You can help me by hitting that like button. Now let's go back up to my man, Dave Gutierrez, who just dropped a super chat, because he did drop an assist super chat, and that was for Tyrese Maxey versus the Dallas Mavericks tonight. Now, for me, it's going to really hinge on if Seth Curry is out or not. I love Tyrese Maxey when Seth Curry's not around. Seth Curry currently a game time decision. Don't know if he's going to play or not. But you can see over the last 5 games for Tyrese Maxey, he has covered in 80% of those games, including 4 straight including 4 straight. So he's got a very nice hit rate here. 4 out of the last 5, he has hit 6 or more dimes. So I like him more if Seth Curry is out. Probably still a play with Seth Curry in. I could see Seth Curry trying to get some shots up against his former team tonight. Maybe Maxey does more dime dropping and less scoring. Could be. Let's go look at the matchup though. Point guards and shooting guards. We'll look at both spots just to get a good idea. Because, again, this is one of those backcourts where Maxey could be called the shooting guard and Seth Curry could be called the point guard just because of their stature, but really they're kind of interchangeable, right? Kind of interchangeable. So let's go find Dallas here. Let's see how many assists per game they're giving up. And this is a healthy number, 8.6. 8.6 assists per game given up to the point guard position, which puts them right around the middle of the pack. But a pretty good number for a guy who needs just 6. Let's look at the shooting guard spot. Dallas against shooting guards. They're giving up, about 5.5 assists, which is exactly where his prop line is today, at 5.5. But that does put him closer to the top of the pack, meaning most giving to shooting guards in the assist category, right? So now that we have that information, let's go take a look and see how many projected assists they have Tyrese Maxey for today. 5.3. But I am seeing him at 6.5 on one site. Now at 5.5 on the other sites, I'm seeing a little bit of action coming in on the over at 5.5. But at 6.5, big time action coming in under 6.5. So for me, I'm taking the wait and see approach. I want to see what's happening with Seth Curry first. Don't know that he's confirmed to be in or out. Don't know yet. But I'm going to wait and see before I click any type of Philadelphia 76ers props. All right. So we got that super chat out of the way. Hopefully that helps you out, Mr. Gutierrez. It's going to be a wait and see for me, bruh. Wait and see for me, bruh. Taking a look here at James Harden, because at 9.5 assists for the Beard, he has covered 9.5 dimes in the last 10 games, 8 out of 10 times, 80%. George, it's going to be a combination of Dwight Powell and Maxey Kleber. Don't sleep on those boys. We just looked at the numbers for Dallas over the last 7 games. They're allowing less than 19 points per game to opposing centers. I mean, I'd have to go back and look and see what centers they faced over those last 7 games. If they faced a bunch of bums, then maybe that number's a little skewed, but they're doing pretty decent. Listen, Adonis, don't yell at me, man. We're going to take all your favorite props at the end of the show, Adonis. I promise. Just hold off so I don't have to scroll back through the chat and look for your favorite picks and plays. After I get through what I'm talking about, then we'll turn things over to the live chat and we'll take some of your questions. Is that fair? The name of the site on the left, this is Fantasy Labs. Fantasy Labs, they offer fantasy player projections and they offer single stat player prop projections as well. So, yeah. Fantasy Labs. James Harden, though, at 9.5 assists, the last 10 games, 8 out of 10, and 80% hit rate. You look at the last 5 games for James Harden here at 9 dimes. He is covered in 5 straight games. I guess PrizePicks is adding more props to the board. 5 straight games covering 9 assists, though. Double-digit assists in every single one of those games. So James Harden definitely been dropping some serious dimes. So he's going up against Utah tonight. Let's take a look at the matchup against the Utah Jazz and see how many assists they're giving up to opposing shooting guards and point guards. Utah giving up just under 4 assists per game. That is actually the 6th fewest. 6th fewest. If we look at the point guard spot, we go find Utah. They're giving up about 9 dimes to the point guard position. So you can make an argument or a case for James Harden kind of being more the facilitator, more the point guard with Kyrie Irving in the lineup. I wouldn't be mad at you if you said James Harden's more the point guard. He definitely gets a lot more assists than Kyrie does. So the matchup here, not looking like an overly difficult one. Let's go pull up a projection for James Harden. Got him projected for 10.4 assists, which puts him over 9. Now he's at 8.5, 9.5, and 10.5 on 3 different books, gang. 8.5, 9.5, and as high as 10.5 assists on 3 different sites. Kind of a weird thing. You never really see that. Lines makers for 3 different sports books can't really agree on how many assists James Harden will have tonight. At 9.5 assists, we're seeing him being bet under, minus 135. At 8.5 assists, we're seeing him be bet over at minus 135. At 10.5 assists, he is also being bet under at minus 125. Thumbs up from the live chat if you think James Harden will go over 9 assists. Thumbs down if you think he's going to go under 9 assists. With these weird lines that we're seeing on these different sports books, kind of crazy, right? Thumbs up if you think he goes over. Thumbs down if you think he goes under. I'd like to see what you guys are thinking here. Seeing a lot of thumbs up, surprisingly. A lot of thumbs up for James the Beard Harden against the Utah Jazz. All right, love to see it. Love to see it, gang. All right. How about Nikola Jokic? The Joker. Probably the best passing big man in the league. He's not up on the board, but maybe you could take him on another site. At 8.5 dimes, a 70% hit rate on Nikola Jokic at 8.5 assists. Maybe he gets added to the board later. I hope so. LaMelo Ball's another one worth considering. He is at 7.5 assists on most of the sports books, but we're getting him at 7 assists today over on PrizePicks. 7.5 assists last 10 games. He's covered in 70% of his games. 70% of his games. Now, over the last 5, he's covered 7 assists in 3 out of 5, but he's hit 7 or more in 4 out of 5. So 80% at 7 or more, 60% at over or more than 7, averaging 8.2 assists. Let's go look at this matchup here against Cleveland. Cavaliers, how many assists are they giving up over the last 7 games to opposing point guards? Where they're giving up just over 7, 7.1 to be exact, which is the 3rd fewest. So LaMelo Ball would have to find every single assist that Cleveland's giving up to opposing point guards. So could be a tall task. Could be a tall task here for LaMelo Ball. Let's go pull a projection up for Mr. LaMelo Ball. Got him projected for 8.6 dimes. That is 1.6 assists higher than where he's at today on PrizePicks. Now at 7.5 on a couple of different sports books, we're seeing minus 145 odds to go under. They're betting the under, which is why PrizePicks said, let's go ahead and shave off that hook, that 0.5 that is known as the hook. Let's take that off. Let's round it down and make it an even 7. An even 7 on LaMelo Ball. Igor, I mentioned Jokic for assists because he has hit 8.5 or more in 70% of his games, but he is not up on the board just yet for whatever reason. So not going to waste everybody's time, but yeah, I think we could look at Jokic at 8.5 assists as a potential overplay if he is added to the board, but not up there just yet. So we've talked some points, we've talked some assists. Let's move over to the rebounds, and then we'll talk about points, rebounds, and assists. Then we'll move on to 3-point makes, and then we'll start taking some of your favorite props. So for the rebound category, last 10 games, one guy that's been absolutely crushing his rebound prop. We talked about him for points. Not sure if I love him for points, but maybe I like him a little bit more for rebounds. Joel Embiid at 11.5 boards has covered this in 8 out of his last 10 games, an 80% hit rate for the big man. Now, over the last 5 games, he maintains an 80% hit rate, hitting 4 out of 5, averaging 12.2 rebounds. But he does go up against kind of a Twin Towers lineup tonight. Dwight Powell, Maxi Kleber. There's going to be some guys trying to get in Joel Embiid's way. Not saying that they will. Not saying that they will, but they're going to try. They're definitely going to try. Now, we're going to go find the Dallas Mavericks. We're going to take a look and see how many rebounds they've been giving up to opposing centers over the last 7 games. And you can see they fall right in the middle of the pack. Kind of an average team at limiting opposing big men on the rebounds. Giving up just a hint, a hair under 15 rebounds. So there you go. Not an overly difficult matchup. There's some upside here. Some room for Joel Embiid to get the job done. Let's go take a look at his projection here. Back to Fantasy Labs we go. You guys want to know about this site? It's called Fantasy Labs. It's got a little tool for their player prop side of things called Action Labs. But Joel Embiid is projected for 11.3 boards. We're seeing him at 11.5 on 3 different sites, 3 different books. and he is a betting favorite to go under. The betting public taking the under on Joel Embiid at 11.5. So, despite the high hit rates, it looks like the betting public doesn't have a lot of faith here in Joel Embiid. So, there you go. Another guy who ended up hitting the other night, we talked about him, I think, the last time that he took the floor, Jalen Green at 3.5 rebounds. Listen, the last 10 games for Jalen Green, he's covered in 8 out of 10, an 80% hit rate. The last 5 games, including 4 in a row, he has gone over 3.5 rebounds. Also rocking the 80%. Gotta love the 80% or the 100% hit rates, right? Averaging 4.2 rebounds per game. So he's quietly been doing a pretty good job at getting on the glass. Now he's facing off against San Antonio tonight. And I think this matchup with this high total, expected total, right? The implied points, sky high, 230 something points. There's going to be a lot of shots going up. A very fast-paced game. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for Jalen Green and others to potentially grab some rebounds. So let's take a look at Jalen Green here going up against San Antonio. We're going to look at both the point guard and shooting guard position. I think Green's probably more of the shooting guard in this backcourt, but we'll look at both. San Antonio giving up about 6.4 rebounds per game, which kind of puts them right in the middle of the pack, right? Right in the middle of the pack. And if we go over to the shooting guard spot and look at San Antonio there, they're giving up about 5.8 rebounds, which again kind of puts them right in the middle of the pack. Things could improve. They could improve for Jalen Green if the likes of Jakob Poeltl, DeJounte Murray, even Doug McDermott, if those guys are ruled out, then I would say that there's even a better chance for Jalen Green to hit his rebound prop with some bench players in the starting lineup. So let's take a look at his projection, Jalen Green. I got Jalen Green projected for 3.8 rebounds. And listen, the betting public guys are smashing the over. We're talking minus 135 and is even as high as minus 150 betting favorite to cover 3.5 rebounds once again. So yes, I think the over on Jalen Green absolutely in play in a fast-paced, high total type of game. One that's going to stay close, so we ain't got to worry about him getting blown out or anything. High hit rates over the last 10, high hit rates over the last 5. I would say just keep going back to it. Keep going back to it. This wouldn't be a time for me to want to get off the Jalen Green rebound train, if that makes any sense. Some other guys that are hitting at a high hit rate. Norman Powell, not up on the board, but if you can get him somewhere else on another player prop site, if you must play anywhere else other than PrizePicks, listen, Norman Powell at 4.5 rebounds, 70% hit rate for him. Mason Plumlee is another guy who's been getting the job done at 8.5 rebounds. Do we trust Mason Plumlee? I don't know about that. I don't know if we trust Mason Plumlee, but I can tell you at 8.5 rebounds over the last 10 games, he's covered in 7 out of 10. Over the last 5 games, he's covered in 4 out of 5, which is 80%. And he's averaging 11.4 rebounds per game. Now, before you go get too excited, that 11.4 rebound per game average being inflated quite a bit here by 17 boards against the Lakers and 17 boards against the Celtics. Okay? Definitely getting some help from those big 17 rebound outputs. But that does go to show you that he's got high double-digit rebound upside in his arsenal. So let's go take a look at this matchup against Cleveland. Obviously, he'll be locking up with the likes of Jared Allen, Evan Mobley. Cleveland giving up about 15.1 rebounds per game to opposing centers, which is actually a pretty healthy number, right? For a guy who needs just 9 boards. That puts him right smack dab in the middle of the league over the last 7 games. So let's pull a projection up here for Mason Plumlee. Got him going for 9.7 projected rebounds. And listen, gang, this is another one of those props that you're seeing the betting public taking a very aggressive stance on. They're smashing the over at 8.5 rebounds, minus 140 betting odds to go over 8.5. So they are very aggressive on the over, is the betting public. Other guys to maybe consider, Al Horford at 6.5 rebounds. He's got a 70% hit rate. Another guy, Dorian Finney-Smith of the Dallas Mavericks at 4.5 rebounds. He's got a 70% hit rate, but I'm not seeing Dorian Finney-Smith up on the board, and I don't think I even see Al Horford on the board. Oh, yeah, Al Horford's on the board. So maybe you consider some Al Horford. All right. So that's it for the rebound props. Now let's combine the points, the rebounds, and the assists all together, and we'll look at some PRA. While I do that, if you haven't hit the like button yet, go ahead and do so now. Or if you hate me and you don't like anything that I'm talking about, you can also hit the dislike button. But why would you do that? Are you just angry? Are you angry at me for some reason? Maybe you got blocked because you're acting a fool in the chat. I don't know. Anyway, for you guys that got blocked, who can still watch the show, but we don't have to hear your comments in the chat anymore. Listen, I apologize, but if you're bringing negative energy, if you're bringing negative vibes into the chat, you got to go. You just got to go. We're here to win money. We're all on the same team. We're all trying to do this together. We don't need people bashing one another. That's not what this is about. All right? I'm getting on here. I'm spending some time with you guys. We're putting you on some fire picks, some fire plays, some winning picks, and some winning plays. So we ain't got time for the drama. We ain't got time for the negativity. Take it somewhere else. All right? We're going to keep this a nice, positive, peaceful place on PrizePicks. You understand? All right. Points, rebounds, and assists. Donovan Mitchell, 34.5 PRA. He has been covering this number at a 70% hit rate, but I'm not seeing Donovan Mitchell up on the board yet. But if we get him later, put him on your map. Put him on your radar. Donovan Mitchell, 34.5 PRA. Tobias Harris, 29.5 points, rebounds, and assists. We could definitely look his way against the Dallas Mavericks. Over the last 10 games, he's covered in 7 out of 10, a 70% hit rate. We look at the last 5 games here, 4 out of 5, or an 80% hit rate, in other words, averaging 35 points, rebounds, and assists in that span. So my man Toby, former Orlando Magic player once upon a time, been getting the job done here. Rocking a pretty nice hit rate over the last 10 and last 5 games on his points, his rebounds, and his assists. So let's go look at the power forward spot. We're going to go to the Dallas Mavericks. They're giving up about 20 points, about 10 rebounds, and about 2 assists. So we put all those numbers together, you're at like 32 to 33 points, rebounds, and assists allowed to power forwards. So there's some upside for Tobias Harris here. Let's go to the PRA projections. We'll pull up Mr. Tobias Harris's prop. Got him projected for 31.7 points, rebounds, and assists. Now at 29.5 though, seeing him at 29.5 on a couple of different sites, couple different books, he is a betting favorite to go under 29.5. People are taking the under. The under. So there you go. Tobias Harris, high hit rate, but the betting public taking the under. Norman Powell. Norman Powell at 25.5 points, rebounds, and assists. 60% hit rate for Norman Powell. We ain't got a lot of high hit rate PRA guys up on the board just yet. FYI. So you're getting into some of these guys that are like 60%. Just fair warning. Right now, this is all we have to pick from. But listen, Norman Powell, 25.5 points, rebounds, and assists. 60% hit rate. He's going up against OKC tonight. So Powell, kind of the small forward, right? Because you got McCollum, you got Anthony Simons manning the backcourt. Norman Powell kind of slots in at that 3 spot, that small forward spot. So let's go find the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're giving up about 19 to 20 points. Let's just call it 20 for easier math. About 8 rebounds, so that's about 28. Then we sprinkle in about 4 assists on top of that. You're looking at about 32 or more points, rebounds, and assists over the last 7 games. So pretty fair matchup here. He's got some upside against OKC. Now, the last time that he played the Thunder, that was back on January 31st. He ended up with 24 points, rebounds, and assists, falling short of covering at 25.5. I got Powell projected for 25.7 PRA. Not Dwight Powell, Norman Powell. 25.7 PRA. Now, he is a betting favorite on at least one site here, minus 120 to go over 25.5 PRA. Who else should we consider? We talked Patty Mills for points. I won't go too far into this, but Patty Mills for PRA, 60% hit rate. Probably like his points a little bit more. Tends to hit his points prop more than he does his points, rebounds, and assist prop. but he's worth looking at. But for me, like I said, I'm favoring the points probably more than the PRA here. Christian Wood, he could be considered. 32.5 PRA. For me, it's going to depend on who's in and who's out for San Antonio. If the likes of Jakob Poeltl are not in there and he's going up against somebody like Drew Eubanks tonight, then I think Christian Wood has an opportunity to feast here. This game, we talked about the total, super sky high total, 230 plus points. It's expected to be a competitive game as well. So I'm on the wait and see fence here on Christian Wood. Like I said, no Jakob Poeltl in there. No Landale for San Antonio, then, it's Christian Wood versus Drew Eubanks. And I'm happy with that matchup. I'll take that matchup for Christian Wood all day long, twice on Sunday, or in this case, twice on Friday. So let's look at this matchup against the Spurs. Center position is where Christian Wood spends most of his time. San Antonio giving up 25.6 points per game. Love that. 15 rebounds per game. Love that. We're already at 40 plus PRA, 41 PRA. And then we sprinkle in about 4 to 5 assists. You're like 45, 46 points, rebounds, and assists allowed by the San Antonio Spurs. So I think we're on to a potentially good play here for Christian Wood. Love the matchup. Love the matchup for him. Let's go ahead and type his name in here. Got him projected for 32.9 points, rebounds, and assists at 33.5 PRA. 33.5 PRA. He is a betting favorite to go over, but we're getting him at 32.5 PRA. So we should definitely be thinking about the over with this 1 point of value on PrizePicks. In other words, he's lower on PrizePicks than he is out on your favorite sports books. So love when we get a little bit of value there. Love the matchup for Christian Wood. Love it even more if Jakob Poeltl and company do not play tonight. So there you go. Christian Wood should be on your radar. Another guy that I like is this dude, Jusuf Nurkic. Now, I usually play him for his fantasy points because my man typically can record a block or a steal. And the way that the rebounds and assists and things like that are weighted really help a guy like Jusuf Nurkic out. So for me, PRA could be an option, but probably more of a fantasy points play. But I think the matchup against OKC will be a very good one. Very good one for Jusuf Nurkic. Anyway, that's enough about PRAs. Let's go to the final category here, 3-point makes. And then we'll take some of your questions. All right, gang? Hold the phone. Hold the mother-loving phone. Wow. James R., my man, coming through with a big dog super chat. A big dog super chat. James says, in 2 days, he has cleared $3,650 in winnings. You already know what it is. Join that Patreon. Taking a break for the weekend, can't possibly do it again tonight. He does not want to push his luck, but since joining Patreon, James apparently has won $3,650 in just 2 days. Listen, that's fantastic, bro. That's fantastic, bro. I mean, if you could do that regularly, often, I mean, that's crazy. Congratulations, my friend. Banana Bandana is who he is in Discord. That's how you can find him. But a member of Patreon for just a couple of days, and he's already pushing $4,000 in wins. Huge, bro. Congratulations. Listen, go do something fun this weekend. Go do something with that money. Make sure you withdraw. Take some profits off and go spend that money. Go buy yourself something nice. If you got yourself a girl, if you got yourself a partner, I don't know, whatever you're into, treat that person. Or your kids, if you got kids, treat them to something nice, man. That's awesome, bro. Not a drug dealer says everyone getting that bag. Fantastic, man. Fantastic. Thanks again, James, for the huge super chat. Again, never expected, but always and forever appreciated. All right, let's take a look at some of these 3-point props, gang. Who we got up on the board? We got Marcus Smart. We got to talk about Marcus Smart because at 1.5 3-point makes over the last 10 games, he has hit 8 out of 10, an 80% hit rate. Now, we've been on Marcus Smart for the last couple of shows here, last couple of streams. I called Marcus Smart coming back to life against Miami, and he did. I also called out what looked like a good matchup for Marcus Smart against the Charlotte Hornets, and he ended up coming through. Now he gets the Detroit Pistons tonight. Will Marcus Smart continue his reign of terror from beyond the arc? I don't know. Potentially. Maybe. Let's go look at the matchup real quick, and then we can answer that question with a more informed opinion, right? Detroit Pistons against point guards over the last 7 games in terms of 3-point makes. Listen, they're giving up just 1.8, which is more than 1.5, but it does also mean that they're the 5th most stingiest. They're giving up the 5th fewest amount of 3-point makes to opposing point guards. So, I don't know if I love the matchup quite as much. I've been the Marcus Smart whisperer for 2 straight streams now, but this one I'm not feeling great about. I don't know that we take the over on Marcus Smart here. Let's go pull a projection up for him, and we can feel a little bit better, maybe a little bit more informed. I got him projected for 1.6 3-point makes, but the betting public, not a big believer in Marcus Smart's 3-point makes tonight. They're taking the under on him. Minus 140, minus 145 for Marcus Smart. So I'm probably off Marcus Smart tonight. How about that? I'll just fade him. When I don't feel great about it, I fade. Ain't nothing wrong with fading. Hey, my man's back again, making it freaking rain with the super chats, James. Wife, all right. He's about that wife life. Is definitely having a nice Valentine's Day and birthday. Shout out to your wife, man. Happy birthday, early birthday to your wife. Thanks so much to you and everyone in Discord. Sorry to interrupt again, bro. And I for sure withdrew most of it. Happy betting, y'all. Listen, James, that is fantastic, brother. That is fantastic. Treat yourself and treat your wife. That's awesome, man. Love it. That's the trap, though. Some people, they win big, and then they're like, well, I'm going to win big, or I have won big, and I'm going to keep winning big. So now I'm going to start betting bigger now that I've got more money to throw out there. And that's where things start to fall apart. People win big. They see their balance on PrizePicks go up, and then they start throwing bigger entries out there. Maybe they were doing $10 and $20 picks before. Now they say, I'm going to go $50, $100 picks now that I got this money, right? Then a couple of bad nights come up, and then that bankroll ain't as big as it used to be. So that's why I say, take some profits off. Leave some money on, of course, but take your profits off. Go buy yourself something nice, right? Don't go crazy increasing your entry amounts, how much you're putting down on each entry. So my man James understands. He understands that you got to take some money off, right? Congratulations once again, James. All right, other 3-point make props here. Like I said, not loving Marcus Smart tonight. Don't know that I'm loving really any of these other ones here either. I mean, CJ McCollum, he did end up getting back on track. He was another guy that I called out against the Lakers. We'd mentioned that McCollum very rarely has 2 underperforming games in a row, or 3 underperforming games in a row, I should say. He very rarely has 3 underperforming games in a row. He went under against Chicago. He went under against OKC, and I was like, listen, it's the Lakers. We got to target CJ McCollum again. He will not continue to shoot this poor, especially not in that matchup against the Lakers. So McCollum did end up going over. Now he's going up against OKC tonight. The last time he played the Thunder was January 31st. He had just 1 3-point make against OKC. So I don't know if they're a good defense or if he had just an off shooting night. But let's go take a look at this matchup. Maybe we go back to CJ McCollum. Maybe he's got back-to-back good nights in him. Finding the Oklahoma City Thunder here. They're giving up the first fewest amount of threes to the shooting guard position over the last 7 games. Very difficult matchup on paper. Oklahoma City against point guards giving up about 2.4, nearly 2.5 3-point makes per game. But that again puts them down toward the bottom. So their guards do a pretty darn good job of limiting opposing point guards and shooting guards when it comes to 3-point makes. McCollum's projected for 3.3 triples tonight, and he is a betting favorite, according to the public anyway. They're putting their money down on the over at minus 140 odds to cover 2.5 3-point makes. All right, that's enough for me. We have covered some points, some assists, some rebounds, some PRA, and some 3-point makes. If you've got some questions, if you've got some plays that you're really liking, hit your boy with them now. MF June says, I've never seen CJ without a hat. Listen, I got some hair, guys. I ain't bald or nothing. I got a big-ass head, all right? I might have a big-ass head, but your boy is not bald. Your boy's got some hair. Y'all always asking for the locks. I brought the locks out on my head today. Nathan wants to see somebody's official ticket. If you're talking to me, Nathan, I ain't got no tickets in right now. I don't have anything locked in right now. I'm doing a first look with you. I don't lock in early. I'm the kind of guy, I like to wait for news. I like to have as much information as possible before I make any entries. So Nathan, you're asking for my official tickets? I ain't got none, brother. No official tickets here. Nothing locked in yet. All right. Spanky Panky says he wants to ride Giddy. Listen, what you do in your personal life, my friend, we don't want to know about it. If you're wanting to ride Giddy in a player prop sense, of course, what are you wanting to take from Josh Giddey? Points, rebounds, assists, points, rebounds, and assists, fantasy points, something else? You got to let me know. Malachi. Yo, CJ. Yo. Yep. For all of you that took the over on me wearing a hat today, listen, you lost. You lost big. But don't worry. I'm sure when you see me back here on Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern time, I'll probably have a hat on. Or will I? No insider trading here. No insider information from me. You're not getting anything out of me. RYVN34 says, Gary Trent points and Tyrese Maxey assists. Seems like my play today. Well, let's talk about Gary Trent real quick. I know we talked about him yesterday. He was at 18.5 points. Ended up getting bumped up to 20 points before we could even do anything, right? Today, he's at 17.5 points. Do we go back to Gary Trent after what happened last night? Somehow, this guy ended up being dead last in the team in field goal attempts amongst the starters. So Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, Scotty Barnes, whoever else started for them. He ended up being last amongst the starters on the Toronto Raptors last night in field goal attempts. So things came crashing back down to earth. Listen, this guy couldn't possibly score 30-plus points per game forever, right? It had to come to an end. Unfortunately, it came to an end last night. So whether you had him at, 18.5 or 20, it didn't matter. He didn't have enough juice. He didn't have enough gas to go over either point prop. But the big question, do we go back to Gary Trent tonight? I don't know, man. I know a lot of you guys are going to be hesitant. I'm probably hesitant on it. The Atlanta Hawks are giving up over 24 points per game to opposing shooting guards over the last 7 games. So the matchup is right. I mean, the matchup is good against Atlanta. Listen, the last time he faced the Hawks, he dropped 31 points against them on January 31st. So just a few days ago, he dropped 31 on the Atlanta Hawks. He could definitely do it. We know he can do it. We've seen him do it. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's take a look at his points projection here. Got him projected for nearly 21 points. At 17.5 out on 4 different sports books. Most sites we're seeing him as a betting favorite to go over. At least one site, though, people are betting the under. They're betting against Gary Trent Jr. against the Hawks. That guy, though, I know he cost some folks some bread last night. Definitely cost some folks some money last night. I Hate Anxiety says, hey guys, sorry to be this guy, but I just got here. What do we have so far? We got a little bit of everything, man. We're all over the place. I can't even remember everything that we're talking about. Busy Brown says Fred VanVleet was the reason that Gary Trent Jr. did not hit his point prop. King United says buy the dip, meaning, listen, they've taken Gary Trent down to 17.5 points. My man King United says, let's go back. Let's go back. I kind of want to believe in that, King United, to buy low on Gary Trent's point prop. Maybe we take the over tonight. Blake, you want me to get some cornrows? Listen, I've never had enough for cornrows, all right? Never had enough hair for cornrows. Well, maybe at one point, way back in high school. I had a nice mane on me back in high school. See what else you guys are talking about. Jared Allen, Peyton Gordon's asking about some Jarrett Allen, PRA. Let's take a look at Jared Allen. He's going up against Charlotte tonight. He's at 29.5 PRA. You want to go over on Jared Allen or under? Yeah, I see Jeremy. Jeremy spamming. Dang. My boy is spamming heavy. Some Kevin Porter Jr. assists. Ooh, that's a good one. All right, Jeremy, we'll take a look at Kevin Porter Jr.'s assists. But first, we're going to look at Jared Allen PRA here. You didn't really mention if you wanted to go over. Or, oh, you did. Peyton wants to go over on Jared Allen. He thinks Jared Allen's ready to get back on track. And you think Charlotte's the team to do it against. All right, let's take a look. Charlotte's given up 17.8 points, 16 rebounds. It's about 33 PRA, 34 PRA, and then we're at 3 assists. So about 36, 37, maybe even 38 PRA there. Just quick math, guys, quick math. So the matchup, not overly difficult here. Like, there's some upside for Jared Allen. Let's take a look at his PRA real quick. I'll pull a projection for you, kind of just give you an idea. 27.3 PRA. Not a good projection for Jared Allen if you're looking to go over. But he is at 28.5 out on a couple of different sports books. At 28.5, people feeling more confident about taking the over at 28.5. At 29.5, I don't know. Seems a little too rich for me. Kind of want to see him start showing a little bit of life here. 4 straight games of going under 29.5. I mean, eventually he's going to pop back up, right? And he's going to get it done. I just don't know if I like it right now. Now, Jeremy, listen, man. I feel sorry for you. That's why I'm doing this. Typically, I would just ignore you because you spammed the chat. You ain't got to do all that, all right? We're talking player props. We're not talking like somebody's dying and they need CPR. But I feel bad for you. I have empathy for you because you clearly have something wrong with you, I think. The way that you spam that like that. So out of the kindness of my heart, Jeremy, I will be glad to look at Kevin Porter Jr.'s assists for you. Let's do it. Kevin Porter Jr. Jeremy couldn't spam it enough, guys. My man's mad horny for some Kevin Porter Jr.'s assists today. 6.5 assists. He sees 5 green bars. And his pee-pee goes, da-doing, doing, doing. Right? My man's mad horny for some Kevin Porter Jr. and his assist prop. 5 straight games. 8, 8, 9, 11, and 7. I can understand why Jeremy feels the way he does about Kevin Porter Jr. and this 6.5 assists prop. Loving it. 8.6 assists per game over the last 5 games for Kevin Porter Jr. Facing off against San Antonio tonight. The last time he played the Spurs, he had 9 assists. Jeremy, put some ice on that thing, my boy. Put some ice on that thing, my boy. But I can understand why you're excited. All right, we'll go to the point guard position here. We'll head on over to the assist category. The San Antonio Spurs are giving up about 7 dimes per game to opposing point guards over the last 7 games. That is the 4th fewest. So Jeremy, in all fairness, not the easiest matchup in the world, but Kevin Porter Jr. did get it done back on January 25th against this same Spurs squad. Okay? So I can understand why you're on rock for some Kevin Porter Jr. assist props. Got him projected for exactly 6.5. He's at 7.5 on 3 different sports books, though. At 7.5 assists, they are betting the under on Kevin Porter Jr. So we are getting 1 assist value here. If it were me, Jeremy, I would probably also feel like you feel and lean toward the over on Kevin Porter Jr.'s assists. All right. I hope that helps you, my friend. And I hope you get the help that you need for that issue you got going on down there. All right, gang. We helped Jeremy out. I knew we could do it. I knew we could help Jeremy. Guys, if you agree on Kevin Porter Jr. for more than 6.5 assists, leave a thumbs up. Let Jeremy know what you guys think. Thumbs up for Jeremy. Thumbs up for Kevin Porter Jr. Or if you don't like it, thumbs down. Let Jeremy know what you guys think. All right. Desmond coming through with the big dog super chat. Shout out to Desmond, one of the newest members of Patreon. Desmond had himself a heck of a night last night. Shout out and congratulations to you, Desmond. Trae Young under 9 assists. He's only hit this in 4 out of his last 10 games. That's just a 40% hit rate. Or if you flip it over, it's a 60% hit rate, right? At going under. CP3 is the only point guard for less than 10 assists or greater than 10 assists per month or in the last month versus Toronto. Point guard game log versus Raptors on StatMuse. Heavy betting under. So you're liking Trae Young under 9 assists. Let's take a look at it. The assist props have been kind of wishy-washy here for Trae Young over the last 5 games. Up and down. Up and down. So, a little bit of a holding pattern here. Got a down, an up, a down, an up, a down. Seems like maybe if you believe in patterns and numbers that this would be a bounce back spot for Trae Young. But you're saying let's go under again against Toronto. Let's look at the matchup. Last 7 games, the assist column. Toronto Raptors giving up. Looking good, looking good. The second fewest assists to opposing point guards at just 7 per game. The second fewest. So very tough matchup on paper. Very tough matchup on paper. Let's pull a projection up for Trae Young. Now, I got him projected for 9.5, but I'm seeing the betting public, like you're saying, smashing the under. Minus 145, minus 150 to go under 9.5 assists, which is why PrizePicks is taking the position they have with just 9 assists. They're seeing the action like we're seeing the action. They went ahead and moved him down to 9. We could take it a step further here. We could go Trae Young assists versus Raptors logs just to see how he's done historically against the Toronto Raptors. He's got some good games in him against this Raptors squad. Has not faced Toronto once this season, though. So we have nothing from this year to compare to, but in previous matchups, I mean, last time they met, March 11th of last year, last season, had just 6 dimes, but he had 13 in 2021. February 6, 2021, 13. 13 on January 28th, 2020. 15 on January 20th, 2020. 10. I mean, so he's got an 80% hit rate out of his last 5 against Toronto. Desmond, big dog, you win some money, bro. So if you're liking the under on Trae Young's assists, I trust your research. From seeing you in the chat here on YouTube, from seeing you in Discord, I don't mind it, bro. I don't mind it, bro. Back to Kevin Porter Jr. It looks like we're seeing some thumbs up on Kevin Porter Jr. We got one person, the tough truth, saying thumbs down. They're not liking Kevin Porter Jr.'s assist prop. So, Jeremy, I hope that between you and me and the rest of the chat here that we have helped you. We've helped you with the question, the Kevin Porter Jr. assist question. For me, it's going to probably be a lean over on 6.5 assists. Listen, we got about, I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 more minutes. About 5 to 10 more minutes. Let's try to get a few more questions out there. Let's help a few more people if we can. And then we'll continue the conversation. We'll continue the fun over in Discord with the rest of you good people. Wander Lutz says, get my man to 130 likes by 12:30, people. Hey, if you guys want to run the likes up, I ain't mad at it. If you guys want to hit thumbs down, I ain't mad at it. All engagement is good engagement. So for the people out there who hit the thumbs down, you guys think that you're doing something. You're actually helping. You know what would be better? Is if you didn't even watch, if you didn't even show up, if you didn't even hit thumbs down. That would be better than not, or than hitting thumbs down, rather. Doing nothing would be better than hitting thumbs down. The way that the YouTube algorithms work, they love thumbs up. They love thumbs down too. They love views. All right, so you guys are helping me, all you haters out there. Let's take a look here. Look at Harden's rebounds. Well, we talked about Harden's assists. I think those looked really good. That would probably be the way to go for me. King United, you want to go back to Isaiah Stewart's first half points? Oh, Lord. Do we do it again? Do we run it back with Beef Stew? Is he up on the board today? Is Detroit playing? Yeah, they are playing. They're just not up on the board. Yeah, we got to wait and see, but that could be one to have on your radar. Isaiah Stewart over 3.5 first half points, if they give it to us again. I don't know if they'll give it to us after what we did last night to him. Tyrese Maxey's assists were discussed. For me, I'm waiting on Seth Curry. Got to figure out what's happening with Seth freaking Curry. 250 plus people watching. Jeez Louise, I didn't know we were pulling that type of traffic, concurrent views. And we can't even get 150 likes. Oh man, it's a shame. It's really a shame, y'all. Jordan Frisk, we were talking about some Jared Allen PRA, and for me, wasn't really feeling the over on his PRA, so I don't know that I'm completely loving Jared Allen right now. I'm kind of cooling the Jets when it comes to Jared Allen. Percy Chance says, what do I think about Robert Williams? Boston Celtics, Robert Williams rebounds. Let's take a look at it. That is a name that we have not discussed yet. I like that potentially. He's going up against Detroit tonight. 9.5 rebounds is the number. Over the last 5 games, you can see he's got 17 and 16 rebound upside, but the last 2 games have not been kind to Robert Williams. He has not been rebounding the ball very well. 7 against Miami, 8 against Charlotte. So it feels like eventually he's got to get back to where he was before, right? Let's go look at the center spot. We'll take a look at the rebounds, and the Detroit Pistons are giving up over 18 boards per game to opposing centers. That is the third most rebounds in the last 7 games. Love the matchup here for Robert, the Time Lord Williams. Let's go over to the rebound category. Robert Williams projected for 10.7 boards at 9.5 rebounds. He is a betting favorite, seeing some strong action, minus 140 and minus 150. I think you're on to something, Percy. Love the matchup, loving the projections, loving the fact that he's coming off of not just one, but 2 bad games in a row, underperforming in 2 straight games. Detroit's given up a ton of boards to the opposing centers. So, yeah, I think this could be a strong spot, man. Thanks for dropping that one. Jalen Green is still at 3.5 boards, and I think it's still a pretty decent look tonight, especially in a high total type of game. I don't mind us looking Jalen Green's way. We don't know if Murray's playing yet. There's a lot of news that we got to stay on top of, gang. A lot of news. As of right now, Zach LaVine is a TBD, to be determined. DeJounte Murray, to be determined. Gordon Hayward, he's questionable. John Collins, TBD. Cade Cunningham, TBD. Josh Hart, questionable. Seth Curry, questionable. Jakob Poeltl has a concussion. He is a TBD. Goga Bitadze for Indiana, questionable. Jordan Clarkson, questionable. And Hassan Whiteside, questionable. So lots of news to stay on top of. Lots of news to stay on top of. So, yeah, we gotta, we gotta figure it out. Got to stay on top of the news. I ain't locking nothing in. I got to get more information. Shout out to China Red. She's mentioning Fred VanVleet threes or CJ McCollum threes. Well, we talked CJ McCollum for threes. Struggled in his last meeting against OKC, so I was kind of feeling some type of way. Make me feel some type of way. That's how I felt about CJ McCollum and his threes. Fred VanVleet's threes, though, against Atlanta. Listen, my man's on a 2-game skid, right? 2-game skid. I think maybe he could get right against Atlanta. Let's take a look at the matchup. Point guards, 3-point makes against the Atlanta Hawks. 2.2, about 2.2 threes allowed per game. So this prop, not the greatest matchup on paper. Over the last 7 games, Hawks doing a pretty good job at limiting opposing point guards. Let's go pull a projection up. Got him projected for 3.9 threes and minus 125 to go over 3.5 threes. So this prop, unlike CJ McCollum, maybe doesn't make me feel some type of way quite as much. Let's go ahead and pull up Fred VanVleet here. Let's see how he's done this season. We go Fred VanVleet, 3 p.m. logs. How many times has Fred VanVleet throughout the last 25 games gone under 3.5 3-point makes for 3 games in a row? Let's just look at it. All right, let's just evaluate the last 25 games. Well, guys, I got to be honest with you. I've never seen Fred VanVleet in the last 25 games go under 3.5 3-point makes in 3 straight games. It's never happened. In fact, I've never seen Fred VanVleet, at least over the last 25 games anyway, go under 3.5 3-point makes in 2 straight games until the last 2 games, that is, where he went for 2 and 3. So this is the ultimate bounce back spot, I think. Right? Is he going to go under 3.5 3-point makes for 3 straight games? It's never been done in the last 25 games, guys. Never been done. Never been done. So maybe he gets right. Maybe he gets right. Listen. Guys, you underestimate me. I sing some Rich Homie. I talk about Meatloaf. For a lot of you don't know who Meatloaf is. Man just died. Rock singer, legendary rock singer. I'm cultured. That's right. I am a man of culture, Joe. But yeah, I think maybe we go back to Fred VanVleet just because we've never seen him go under 3.5 3-point makes in 3 straight games. So listen, with that, I'm up out of here. We're going to end the show. Thank you for being here. TGIF, let's make Friday a payday over on PrizePicks. Appreciate you all being here. Leave a like on your way out if you haven't yet. You'll catch me back here on Monday morning, 11 a.m. Appreciate all the support, gang. Until then, peace out and good luck tonight.